Hello, I'm Matt with Schematical, and today we're here to talk about Stable Diffusion as a service. I'd like to address something for those of you guys that are longtime listeners. Normally, I do this standing, but I have Teeling here on my lap, and it's the only way I can get him to stay calm. It's my 5-month-old puppy. So today, we're doing a video with a dog on the lap. Actually, he'll be in the video, though, in other ways. I'll show you in a minute. He's going to be one of our test subjects for Stable Diffusion, or if you're trying to run Dream Booth as a service. So, have you ever wondered, I wished you could have like an API you could ping. This is a very nerdy question, but wish you had an API you could just send out to and you can fine tune your own Dream Booth models. So you could just post it photos, it learns the photos, then send it a prompt after that, and it just generates up photos from that prompt. Say, for example, you owned a company that sold products that go onto cars, and you wanted to take photos of those products and then have it memorize what those products look like on different vehicles. So your users can then upload a picture of their vehicle and see what that product then looks like with an image to image one. We could do that. So I'm here to show you today Chaos Pixel. So if you haven't seen it before, drawnby.ai. I do a lot of videos about that. That's another product I have that's out there. When we built that, the whole time I was thinking, why not make it so everybody could do this? And so we built it with that in mind. The entire back end of it is designed to allow other people to fine tune their own Dream Booth models. Or if you're interested, talk to me about other stuff, PyTorch models. We can do a lot of other things. If you're trying to figure out how to host your Python, AI, GPU, machine learning payload online, you're trying not to break the bank, talk to me. So without further ado, let's get into how this works. The dog on my lap does not help. I'm going to try and break this into segments here, but let's look at this ERD. So I'm going to try to break this into segments here, but let's look at this ERD real quick so we've got some idea. Now, each user can have multiple models. So you could have a model for training your dog's face on, and another one for training all those vehicles, product information, etc. Or you can just experiment. So it's set up to let everybody have multiple models. From there, you're going to have your training instance, which has a training class. So instance data basically is, if I was training a model with various products, you'd have product A is a single instance with a bunch of photos of that on different vehicles, and then product B as another training instance with a bunch of photos of that on another vehicle. Or, in my case, if I've trained models where both my dogs and my face is in it, and so it knew the difference, and I could say, Matt's sitting next to them. It really didn't do great with positioning, but it's a start. And training class is a bunch of photos that are similar to it, but not the same. So I have a bunch of pictures of other dogs here that aren't my dog that I'd trained so it doesn't over fine tune to my dog's likeness. Additionally, from there, we've got training model job. So that's when you kick off a training of the model. We don't have versioning in yet. We'll get that there. And then inference requests. So an inference request is when you feed it a prompt and you say, hey, I want to see my dog as Batman, which I oddly enough have on here. Or I want to see my dog as Superman or in an old-timey clothes. And then here's our inference results. So each inference request has many results. So that's every photo that's generated. And again, this does not necessarily just have to be Dream Booth related. I can wire in other things. Hit me up on the Discord. Just today, I created this little document where I still need to insert that ERD from the other one here, where you guys can actually see step by step what API calls you'd be making here. I'm not actually releasing it's not open sign up or anything like that, because it's really early. I don't know if it's used in production right now, but as far as like letting other people besides Drawn By use it, is pretty early in alpha right now. So please ping me on Discord if you want to get credentials. I'm not even giving the URLs here. You're going to post a GQL payload to my APIs, which will then take in your GQL payload, the variables you pass in, and will generate a response for you. So we'll actually walk through all of that in this video. For those of you guys that don't know, GQL is really simple. You basically just pass it in the mutation I gave you, and it will respond. The mutation and the variables, and it will respond with your response. So dirt simple. Don't be overwhelmed by it. piece of cake to pick up. And there's GQL clients for a bunch of different languages. All right, so let's start at the top. First thing we want to do is create our model. That's what ties everything together. So, and this isn't necessarily a binary model that you'd see come out of PyCharm that you'd then feed back into PyCharm to generate other things. This is a reference to that, but this is you're going to create the model before you actually even upload your inference data. So we just create the model here, and you pass it a name and a namespace. The namespace is like a URI. It's just so no punctuation or anything like that, and you'll get an ID back for that. Now write that down or copy and paste it. Yeah, don't write it down. That'd be silly. Copy and paste it. Put it somewhere. So let's run the model in GQL. So right here, I have all the commands I'm about to show you queued up and ready to go. So I'm going to create one called Teeling, which is named after the puppy that is on my lap. All right, so let's go ahead and create that model. Again, I didn't give you any of the authorization stuff. You'll have to actually talk to me on Discord about that. But I'm definitely looking for beta testers and early adapter customers as well. So if you're interested, again, hit me up. All right, so creating training data. So this is the training model ID, the namespace we set, and my user. Step 2, create the training instance. Now remember, training instance is a collection of binary data, in this case, Dreambooth images around a single subject. So in this case, we're just gonna upload pictures of Teeling. So already got it queued up here, create training instance, and this one's also gonna be called Teeling for now, and Teeling. Probably a little confusing. I probably should have called my model just dogs or something, but we're in it now. So now I've got a training instance. Now remember this ID. So we're gonna need that for step 4 or 5. So let's go ahead and take a look at step 3. So now we want to get the training upload URL. So we need to upload pictures of Teeling. In order to do that, we need to get the training instance upload URLs. So we'll run this, and we're going to pass in a bunch of extensions here. So I'm going to pass in I want to put the training instance I created here. So first thing we need to do is get the training instance ID we have here, and then we're going to put it in our training instance ID here. Now, for however many photos you want to upload, you're going to need to pass in this array. And the reason for that is it needs to know the extension of each photo. That way it gets parsed properly by Dreambooth. And here it will give us our upload URLs. Now, this URL, you're just going to run a put to it right now, and you can just basically do a form upload put. So for step 3B, you're going to do a put to it. I don't have, whatever language you're using, it's going to depend how you set that up. So, but it's pretty simple, just a form put. It's dirt simple. He's dreaming right now. He's kicking around. I can feel it. I'm going to jump over to a quick little web interface that I made for this. And you can see it firing off over there, all the uploads right there. And the response looks exactly like we saw there. And magically, now we've got all this. But you don't need to use the web interface. There is a web interface. We're not going into it in this video because it is not polished. So now we've got all those photos up there. We're going to associate the training instance with the training model. And that would be this command here. And you're going to need the training model ID and training instance ID. So let's go ahead and grab the training model ID, put that as the training model ID, and set that as the training model ID. And let's do the training instance and set that as the training instance ID there. And look at that. All right, moving on to the next one. We're going to go ahead and create a training model job. So this will trigger the training model job to run on my end. So let's take a look right here. My job queue, we can see there's currently nothing in a runnable state right here. You guys can't see this stuff, but just so you kind of have an idea what happens behind the scenes here, I am going to create a training model job, and I need to pass it the right training model ID. So again, we're going to go back to step 1 and pass it a training model ID, and you're going to need to pass it a base model. So pick a Dreambooth model of your choice and send. So you don't need to really make note of any of this stuff here. That should be good for now, but let's go back here, refresh, and now we've got Teeling in a runnable state. You can wait for it to finish, or the way I've got it set up right now, if I create an inference request right now, it will run as soon as this is done. So I'm actually going to queue up my inference request right away. why not? I'm going to take that training model ID, paste it in there as well, and I'm going to take a prompt and put it in there. Portrait of the dog as Spider-Man. And eventually, by the time I get a lot of people into this is going to change, but you will just put in the namespace of whatever you put in there, what your instance namespace was. So this would be Teeling. And then we send it. I kind of am jumping around here, but yeah, so step 6, create the inference request. All the stuff you need is right here. Your prompt, image count, you can up that right now. I'll be letting some alpha testers use it, but you will be paying per inference as well as per training. So we're going to come up with some type of credit system for that. Feel free to ping me if you get any ideas of how you want to make arrangements, because this isn't free. It does cost me money to run this stuff on AWS. It is not expensive, but it is not free either. And I can do a video on those costs as well. All right, and then step 7, let's view our inference requests. So this means we want to see our inferences in action once they're done. Now this won't be viewable for a while, and I've already got a ton of inferences that I've made before, so I can view this. So we'll look at one of the ones I did previously. Actually, I don't think I've even looked at these. Oh, you can see, okay, so these are the ones I just queued up. They do not have a response yet. And I queued these up. This one I was queued up with a different model, the model that's got my other puppy in it, Shay, who was the impetus of a lot of this stuff. And you can see I downloaded it, and there is Shay as Spider-Man. Now we can compare that with Teeling as Spider-Man in about 5 minutes.
A few moments later.
All right, we are back. Let's take a look here. We're going to go ahead and list the inference requests again. I actually ran another one because Spider-Man, it put a mask over him. So I tried Superman. So let's take a look at Superman here. And that is Teeling as Superman. Pretty cool, huh? So we trained a model today. We uploaded images, trained a model, and got images back. All of it programmatically with the SDK, so you don't have to host any of this stuff. It's been an eventful day. I have not moved from this chair with Teeling, literally on my lap, for this entire video, but I managed to get it filmed. Not important. So pretty cool stuff. If you're interested in trying this stuff out, hit me up on Discord. Literally from the whole beginning to end, you can train models without even having to write a little bit of Python code or worry about how it's hosted. You just send out an API request and we do all the work for you. Additionally, if that's too much, I could polish the interface and you can just upload your own photos and train your own models that way. So if you're not a technical person and you've listened to this video this far, impressive. But I can make that work as well. We've got all sorts of options here. So I'm eager to hear from you. I'm interested in working with other entrepreneurs that have business products they want to build, or B2C, B2B products that use Stable Diffusion, or otherwise, if you're just having trouble hosting it or figuring out how to make it run cost efficiently online, that's what I do. That is literally my consulting business. I also have a group coaching class as well, and a lot of other options on how you can engage with me. So please reach out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or any video requests or anything at all. Tell me what your dog's name is. Tell me what prompts you want me to run for Teeling and Shay. So without further ado, I am Matt, and this is Teeling. We're both with Schematical, I guess. Have a great day. This puppy is melting my lap right now. Like I start recording, you become a space heater.